Is the behaviorist approach deterministic?
Yes, it is deterministic as it claims that thought and behavior are caused by factors outside of our control, for example past experiences and conditioning.
This is referred to as environmental determinism. This is a weakness as it doesn't acknowledge the existence of free will. Compare this to the biological and humanistic approach. Is the behaviorist approach reductionist?
Yes, it is reductionist and mechanistic as it attempts to explain all human behavior in terms of stimulus-response units. Littleton, 2002, claims that explaining human behavior in this way is both degrading and scientifically inaccurate. However, it is argued that humans do have conscious insight into their behavior and can actively change it, which contradicts the behaviorist approach.
This is a weakness as it is an oversimplification and ignores other important factors which may be involved in human behavior, such as the role of genes and cognitive processes.
In comparison, social learning theory does take into account the role of mediating cognitive factors in the process of observational learning, such as attention, retention, motive, etc.
Is there any evidence for the behaviorist approach?
The behaviorist approach is supported by evidence from animal studies, often using rats or pigeons. For example, Skinner and the Skinner box.
The Skinner box was used to investigate the effect of reinforcement and punishment on the behavior of rats.
This is a strength as there is evidence suggesting that reinforcement and punishment do shape behavior. However, should findings from animal studies be generalized to humans?
Further supporting evidence comes from Watson and Rayner's 1920 study of little Albert, in which they used classical conditioning to elicit a fear response.
This is a strength as there is evidence suggesting that certain behaviors, for example phobias, may be a result of classical conditioning, the pairing of two stimuli.
DiNardo et al. Found that over 60% of people with phobias of dogs could relate their fear to a frightening incident with a dog.
And DiGallo et al. Found nearly 20% of people who had been in a bad traffic accident developed a phobia of travel. However, not all phobias can be traced back to traumatic event.
This means the idea of classical conditioning is limited as an explanation. Do you know any applications of this approach?
This approach has been used to explain phobias through avoidance learning, and it has been used to treat anxiety disorders by systematic desensitization and flooding.
It has also been used in behavior modification, for example token economy. What methods does this approach use?
The experimental method is controlled, rigorous, objective and replicable. The experimental method allows a cause and effect relationship to be established.
Also, animals are useful for research as they can be studied in ways that humans cannot. But, we cannot easily generalize to humans and it lacks ecological validity.
One weakness is that it focuses too much on the influence of nurture and ignores other factors such as the role of genes or cognitive processes.
Another weakness is that neither classical or operant conditioning alone can explain all behavior, therefore, it is a limited theory.